Let me now bring on board Prakash Diwan, Head of Institutional Client Group with Ashit C. Mehta Investments. Prakash, morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us. Prakash, the big story this Friday morning is Citigroup is looking at selling their entire 9.8% stake in HDFC Limited. The fact that a clutch of investors are ready to invest in HDFC Limited after such a strong appreciation in the last 5 or 6 years, is that a very big positive for the Indian financial sector?
Yeah, I mean, it serves the purpose of both the institution that's exiting and as well as the ones who are looking at getting in, because not only have we emerged as much stronger relative to our Asian peers and of course even the European peers, but I think from a growth perspective, the kind of opportunity that housing finance as an area offers in India is immense, and out of that, of course, HDFC is a marquee player, so there's undoubtedly no question on them being able to lead the sector with a scorching pace. So I think it's a win-win. It should be taken as a positive, certainly.
Prakash, what about the overall market though? Does it seem like we've halted around the 5,600 mark up until the next catalyst, either from the credit policy or the budget outcome?
You know, actually what's happened is, if you see the rollovers that we've seen last evening, the rollovers have been kind of in line with the 6-month averages, but much lower than what we saw from Jan to Feb, primarily because I don't think people are very keen on taking forward long positions given the uncertainty from the budget and of course the credit policy and the outcome of the elections. But somewhere the enthusiasm is there, the undertone is very positive. And I would reckon that we would see some sort of a build-up before the budget and not necessarily after that. And that could, of course, be left to, the kind of outcome on the budget where we'll have to see what March and April go through. But prior to that, I'm sure we'll see some sort of an upside from this 5,600 plus all the way to possibly 57, 50, 5,800 levels.
How would you explain the move that we've seen in the entire infrastructure gamut? Is it just a catch up because these were the battered down stocks, or do you think it is in anticipation of what may come about in the budget?
No, possibly both. I mean, the fact that they were beaten down so badly in the month of December, and when you have such a huge swell of liquidity chasing stocks, the first one is that you would want to go into are these stocks where the value is there but they've been beaten down unreasonably so. And of course, infrastructure has been kind of ignored in all these announcements that we've seen in the recent past. And I'm sure the budget and of course interest rates coming down is a positive signal for some sort of a revival, some sort of a pickup in the economy on this front. So I'm sure these stocks will come down to a bit of a correction of sorts, but then reasonably so start growing at about 15 to 18, 20% kind of a CAGR, and that's the time to kind of start nibbling into these stocks, which might right now look slightly overpriced.
Prakash, why is Axis Bank suddenly outperforming? Axis Bank for this calendar year is up 50%.
That's true, Nikunj. We've seen a major shift in portfolios, from ICICI Bank and equal weightage getting into Axis Bank, which was not there for the last financial year. Now, strangely enough, SBI, of course, hasn't seen any kind of a dilution in most institutional portfolios, especially from the FIs. But Axis Bank has kind of crept in from a very negligible portion to a significant amount of holding within most portfolios. In some places, of course, even much higher than even ICICI Bank. So my sense is people are looking at a premium attached to this bank because it's in a much better, higher growth phase with a much cleaner balance sheet as compared to what ICICI had to face a couple of years back. So the impulse is, of course, to kind of get to look at rewards from a bank which has a much better start, and especially the retail SME focus that Axis has always been positioning itself on is, I think, started to pay off in terms of margins as well.
Prakash, strength and liquidity dominated or has dominated Indian markets so far. Do you think in the month of March it will be volatility and news which will dominate Indian markets? Because in the month of March you've got 3 big events. First, outcome of UP election, followed by credit policy, and then Union Budget 2012.
No, absolutely, Nikunj. In fact, you would have noticed we've already started experiencing the tremors of volatility in the last few sessions of this week also. And primarily, I think what's adding to the entire anxiety related to these events is the way crude has been behaving. Now, if that were to happen, it could kind of have a spiraling effect on a lot of the announcements that people are kind of pinning their hopes on. So my sense is the evidence of profit booking also is getting stronger. People may not get rewarded for taking too many long positions beyond a certain level of the indices. And that makes it very difficult for the market to gauge in terms of, a unidirectional move, either downwards or upwards. So I think volatility is going to be the order of the day for the entire series, and we would already, start seeing that from today's session itself.
Prakash, I know we've discussed HDFC Bank, but at 700 rupees after this deal, do you expect HDFC Limited to spike up or spike down?
No, I would expect it to move up. In fact, this is a clear endorsement of the fact that there's enough pent-up demand, and there would be enough takers at higher levels also. So if I were to look at a stock like this, I would definitely be a buyer.
Prakash, just want to bring you in on Videocon. That's a stock that you recommended from a 1 month time frame. What makes you so bullish on this one?
You've already heard of a glimmer of what's likely to come through on this particular deal in Mozambique. Now, as and when that happens, it's going to be a blockbuster for the kind of stake cost that they've put in when acquiring this particular stake. That's hardly anything as compared to what they could get out of it. Secondly, Videocon could also benefit out of some announcements that are likely on the mining side, which has kind of stymied their expansion plans on the power business. So that is something that we expect to happen. We've been given some sort of an indication that that's likely to go through this month. And as and when that happens, you could probably see a re-rating attributed to that part of the business for this stock as well.